Hi, everybody. This is the SEBA call for October 16th. What we have on the agenda today is a review of any new JIRA items since the last time we had a call. And then I wanted to demo some of the Onos logging integration work that's going on. And I also wanted to call, see if there's any other topics people wanted to discuss. So I guess I'll open with that. Is there anything that people wanted to add to the agenda for today? Okay then. I'm going to jump into Jira then. We have a few items that got added since the last review, which was on the 11th, since the last time we looked at Jira. So for these items, some of these are FCAPS related. So the first one, SEBA 297, I think this is Mateo's item. So there's a difference in format between different event types. So I think this is just a fix-up to make things all work the same way. Scott, are you on? Can you speak about 298?
Yeah, I'm here. So 298 is that the Tosca engine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Scott.
Yeah, 298 is that the Tosca engine. It saves the incoming recipe to a temporary file. I'm getting echo from someone. I don't know who, but I'll keep talking. Anyway, it saves to a temporary file, and that file has the same name for each thread of the Tosca engine. So if two recipes come in at the same time, we think it's executing, it's clobbering one of them and executing the wrong recipe. So that's just a matter of fixing that temporary file name so it's unique per thread. That should be a simple fix.
Okay, thanks, Scott. 301, 302, and 303 look like they're issues that Andy discovered with, I think, are these that you discovered during work on SEBA in a box?
Yes, that's right. So we noticed that sometimes SEBA in a box was failing tests because the AT&T workflow driver service instance would end up in a strange state, and we traced it back to a concurrency problem. Basically, the state is being updated by events coming in from Kafka and also from model policies that are triggered by changes in the data model. So I'm not fully trying to solve that concurrency problem right now in terms of, instituting locking or something like that. Just trying to make sure that we don't have an issue where two things are happening at the same time and one thread is saving stale state over the results of another thread. So that's in progress. And I think that covers at least 301. I'm not sure about the other ones.
Okay, it looks like you filed those. Is he on? Are you on?
Let me see. I saw this in the nightly test on the ONF. So I push new with wrong location, the whitelist, and then correct that location. It will state of the ONU stacking one. Haven't got chance to debug on the pod.
Yeah, maybe tied or related to the concurrency problem that Andy just discussed. It might be, but we just covered in the last couple weeks, so we'll investigate further there.
Okay. Large conference room, you guys are echoing every time for some reason. Are there people hearing that?
Yeah, we can hear it.
I'm hearing the echo here too.
Yeah, not sure what's going on. There's only one of us logged in.
We'll switch to a phone call.
Okay, thanks. Well, while they're changing that over to that, it looks like there's some other tests that were being done, but I'll wait until they get back to talk about that. There's also, and it looks like it's more fixing of issues that came up with with these in the testing on the pod.
Yeah, 311 we've seen as well, the one that's highlighted.
Okay.
And for what it's worth, since you're at the end of the list, yesterday.
I think I'm the one that told.
Oh, you told them about it? Okay, yeah, all right. I created an epic yesterday, a 310, and realized that it was a duplicate of the air gapped epic. So you can delete 310 if you like. I just moved the description from mine to yours. I believe you'd created an epic for air gap, so I moved this description here.
Okay.
Really, this is just in so many words describing a air gapped installation with literally hardware in boxes, on site, and going from there to a full-on setup. So we're kind of breaking this up into a few different pieces. One is, truly, a server in a box, and then the others is kind of at different waypoints. Maybe assuming you have Kubernetes ready, we get the Docker images loaded, through some means, maybe side loading them or having a local repo. But basically, this epic kind of wraps up that whole effort, whether it's in pieces or all at once, is kind of where we're approaching it.
Okay, that sounds good. I linked your duplicate and closed it with status of duplicate, so that's cleaned up.
All right. Yeah, thank you. At some point, I'll start dropping some tasks, some stories underneath this one for some of the specific ones. There should already be one about the management VM, but there will be others, and that's what we here at the Foundry are primarily focused on, is that particular epic.
Okay. I have one other thing I wanted to look at is things that were resolved. Are the people in Menlo back? Is the conference room back?
Yeah, we should be. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you now. That's better. So back in here, we had these items, the 307 and 308. These are, I think, tests that were being developed?
Yes. So this one is for implementing data plane failure scenarios for the HTTP workflow test, including like rebooting ONU, OLT, RG, and also bring up the ports on different devices. I will start working on that after I finish debugging the current issues I'm seeing. This one is for saving container logs after each test case in a nightly test. I'm already finished that. The code is in Garrett. It's under review.
Okay, thanks you. Yeah. And 311, it's Matt commented on this, but
this one, well, I debugged with Tail yesterday, and we think this is Tail will be looked at this. So basically, when the ONU is removed from the whitelist, or even if it's not created in the whitelist, it still goes to active state. That's not expected.
Okay. I also wanted to look at things that were completed since the last review. Kailash, you have this first one, 292.
Yeah, so it's just one of the missing tests that we had in our CI environment. So I added a test that listens on the Tosca repo, across Tosca repo, to do a simple data model change and a retrieving of data models through Chameleon API. So that was implemented and done.
Okay, and the next two I think are related to BBSim. Is Keita there? I'm thinking not. These are there are two emulation scenarios. One is creating DHCP packets that go up through ONOS in BBSim, and the other one is 802.1x authentication using WPA supplicant. And I think these are both done. Mateo's been working with Keita to get this set up, and I think in testing, and also you have a few Tosca files that set this up. So this is coming along nicely. 312 subscriber update fails for duplicate CTAG. I think Mateo doing debugging the pod at BBWF right now?
I believe so.
Okay, so I don't exactly know what the gist of this is. 312 is. But moving on, this is the duplicate that we talked about just a while ago. 300, Scott, do you have?
Sure. Yeah, I added ONU statistics to PONSIM. So we have that now, but the one caveat is that the KPIs that PONSIM implements are the old form of KPIs, and our KPI exporter and Prometheus integration doesn't work with it. So there's a new task I've added to upgrade those to the newer KPI format. That's it.
Okay, sounds good. And 280 is you?
So I implemented the scenarios for like incorrect whitelist and like skip authentication, skip subscriber provisioning. And these are all, now we are running nightly on both ONF pod and the flat pod. And we start to see several issues. Some already fixed, some I fired bugs, and there's still some I need to look into.
Okay, thanks you. I think, were there other items? So I only looked in the December version. There are a few other items that were outside of December version, but I think these probably, some of these might need to be in the December version. Like I think, Scott, this 309 should be in December.
309 update PONSIM. Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice, although it's PONSIM, so I don't know if that's a hard requirement for December or not.
Okay. And a few of the other items, are any of these that were added that anyone can say are need to go into the December release? Okay, I'll take that as a no.
What's 306? Well, we've been reading, so hold on. Go back. There we go. Do you have to remove from status? I don't know. We've never removed an OLT, so.
Yeah, I don't have an API.
I mean, it's not. I guess it's not crucial, but certainly odd. And yeah, I don't know. I think that's fine to wait for a little bit, for our purposes at least. I mean, anybody else who needs it for like BBWF or things like that, certainly do what you need to do.
Okay.
And then the one above it, 305. What was that one again? Messed up.
Oh, it looks like it's adding additional items that are nonsensical.
Oh, I see.
Okay, so this is just status updates.
Yeah, I mean that's
okay.
Yeah.
And then yeah, let's see the top one.
Only 2 points.
All these.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that should happen.
Yeah, I'd say if
Okay.
I'd say adding it, yes. But again, it's a question of time and resources. But That one seems like a good one.
Okay, I'm gonna move this one into December, but none of the others. The last one is 313. Validate that subscribers with the same S tag don't have the same C tag.
Oh, I see. So I know algorithmically we can't have that.
Yeah, we won't ask for it.
Yeah, okay. So that one's I don't think is such a big deal, just because abstract OLT won't allow that to happen.
Yeah, but that's just an AT&T thing.
No, I know. It's
So
we can only speak for ourselves, I guess.
yeah, I mean, it's still a good validation check.
Yes, it is.
I don't know.
So Don,
we wouldn't consider it critical for December.
so Don, is with your statement, was abstract OLT is just an AT&T thing, or just that algorithm?
Well, so abstract OLT implements the algorithm that AT&T has designed for S and C tags, and there's no overlap whatsoever. As long as when we deploy it, we provision through abstract OLT, which we need to. This can't happen. I mean, it's still a valid thing to do validate whatever,
Right.
but
Yeah.
sorry, but it's just not something AT&T would be that concerned with, because we're already doing that in abstract OLT. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. Are there any other things that people know that they changed in Jira that they wanted to bring to the group's attention? Alrighty. I'm going to move on. The next item we had was I had wanted to demo some of the ONOS logging integration. This is going to be very, very short, but what I have going on here is we've changed the way that ONOS logs, so that in addition to logging to a container and to logging or logging within the container to the logs, it also will log through to Kafka and then can be seen in Kibana and anything else that reads off of the Kafka bus. So what I have as an example here is that there's now an ONOS log topic. This is a SEBA in a box I spun up. So we're going to see things like new things coming from the in the XOS side, like the AT&T workflow driver, and those are going to create new. Hopefully, if it's working correctly, you're going to see things like events processed, and then ONOS will put up. We'll have log messages in response to the changes that happen in XOS. Now, there's still a few changes we wanted to make. For example, we haven't sort of normalized our fields in Kibana and in Elasticsearch. So you'll see things like ONOS will log to a different column than like it'll put things in message, whereas XOS related things will go in message.event or msg.event. So this is just an example. So for example, here, the Fabric Cross Connect synchronizer in XOS tells deleted a Fabric Cross Connect service instance, and then you see over in ONOS that the segment rounding app removed the device. So this should help with debugging. This patch is almost ready to go. So after that, the next step is to get Volta logging in a similar state and to get things normalized so that they're not in discrete fields.
Zach, who is putting the timestamps to the logs? Logstash, or you are getting from the logs directly?
So one of the problems we had initially was that ONOS doesn't log directly into Kafka. The version of Karaf we're using in ONOS is an older version. When we get to Karaf 4, which should be in the next ONOS release, we can log directly to Kafka. So what we're doing is right now is we're running FileBeat, which reads a JSON formatted log that Onos generates. It takes the timestamp from Onos and uses that. Now, one of the issues with that is the Onos logging system only has a millisecond precision. So occasionally you can get if things happen on the same millisecond, they can be out of order. Usually that's only a message or two. And it shouldn't be that confusing. So we are taking the timestamps from the Onos log themselves. We're not taking them from when they hit Kafka. And the same thing with XOS. Those XOS log messages are being written when from Python. They're not being and they're being put straight on the Kafka bus. They're not being done by or not being created by Kafka as the Volta ones are, because the issue with that there is that the Kafka library that Volta uses doesn't support timestamping internally. That's that ACFA, I forget the reverse Kafka named item. AFCAC, yes. And I'm not sure how much effort is going to go into fixing that outside of minimal stuff as the move to Volta 2.0 is happening. Are there any other questions about this?
Is there a Helm chart for installing Kibana? Is there any kind of procedure for getting that going, or is it just the standard public process?
Yeah, there's a logging chart that spins up Logstash, which imports from Kafka to Elasticsearch, and then Kibana, it loads Kibana as well, and Kibana loads, can then talk to Elasticsearch and run these queries on it.
Okay, all right, so and that logging chart is in the Garrett Helm charts?
Yes, you can run it right now if you want to. It is getting a few changes with this Onos logging framework. Previously, we had it reading in the KPIs. They were coming out of Volta, but those aren't too useful. Those are much more useful for the Prometheus and other monitoring charts. But those are, so just so that Elasticsearch isn't so noisy, we decided not to include those in the future. But that can be tweaked. You can change which topics you want it to listen on and to end up in Elasticsearch.
Okay, cool, good deal.
Alrighty, does anyone else have something for the call? Okay then, I'm going to call it. Talk to everyone later.
Bye, take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Nice.
All right.